Let's see if everything works. Does anyone hear me? Yes, perfect. Let's wait for everyone to join. And let's begin. Yep. So this time I'm a little bit better prepared than the previous years. I have proper presentation with the stuff, so it should be fun. With the project itself is a little bit harder because I just yesterday managed to recover it enough to kind of show something, so it will be funny. Any kind of the crashes, it's on me, and we'll just try to work around that. So yeah. So sorry for lighting. I'm kind of in a different location than normally. I moved to Poland, and right now still don't have all my setup done, so we'll need to kind of deal with that. Yeah, let's begin then. So we have how many people? We have some, yeah. So I don't know if there are people that not recognizing the project over the year. Yeah, I know, this is the fault of the light. I can turn on the second one. No, this one. Yeah, the lights. Nope. Sorry, man. It's the fault of the lights. So this is not the fault of the camera. It's the fault of the lights. So yeah. Normally using the ring lights, but well, I'm where I am. So we'll need to kind of survive that. At least it's small screen, so it should be perfectly fine, you know, guys. It's what we have. Anyway, the most important one will be the what you see on the screen, so the kind of presentation. Polish electricity, not so much. Largely Chinese LED lamps. I would say that more. But yeah, so hello everyone. This is another presentation for the 30th anniversary. I think it's my third time already presenting, or even fourth one, maybe. But yeah, for those who don't know, for past 18 years, I'm making the Little Big Adventure tribute, before called also the remake. And we'll look a little bit into that. So this is the current logo of the project. The logo changed over the time a lot, and you will see it. So yeah. So how this everything starts? So I kind of start from this beginning where people do not really some may not recognize the project. So this is one of the first renders of the twin set that I done 18 years ago. I posted it on the Magic Ball network. I was very proud of them. And this was in the fact first character of the remake that I was making. And of course, three different way of dressing. The tunic, one was the prison, the casual, and one was the prison dress. Looks pretty good. So yeah, this is kind of the same color, no texture, nothing. I was pretty beginner with the graphics. So well, and this is kind of what I shown. This was one of the first kind of better renders of the project that I have on the right. And this is the original game. And in 2013, I kind of more or less started the project. The whole technology behind the project going a little bit longer. But at this point, I posted the information about the project and started to kind of sharing the content. And this is one of the first screenshots that I ever shared. It's very rough. It's kind of, it's terrifying how long road everything kind of went from the beginning of the project till now. But very fast the project started to getting like the momentum and developing more. I started working on the better exterior, as you can see, very closely holding to the original kind of look and trying to make it as similar as it was there. Then started to polishing the interiors of the Citadel, still having the old model of the characters is the models that you see before, just with the texture. And as you see, the logo itself looks it's still called the remake. It's a good time kind of thing. Started to get the momentum and start to developing nicely. This is another view of the same location. As you see, it's very close to the original looks as much as possible. Yep. Yeah, this is my project that I work. It's Little Big Adventure Tribute called right now. And yeah, it's kind of, I trying Freak to be faster than 30 years, but as you see over the time, just sometimes for good things you need to wait. And this is kind of the whole location. As you can see, it's already similar to the one in the game. There are some elements that not looking so nice, like on the top you can see that the wall extending more. You can see the lower levels when you are in the higher one and so on. But it's still top down, very close to the original game. At the same time, I started to kind of do different kind of the updates about the project. And while browsing the blog, while I was doing that, I found out a lot of these kind of funny comic strips that I was drawing to kind of show that I'm working on something. I thought that this would be kind of interesting, and even after these years, I kind of think it's pretty funny. And as the funny aspect, the animation system, I still work on animation system. So yeah, you have seen, yeah, here is showing the different modes for the Twinsen, kind of trying making fun of it, a little bit like the Pip-Boy in the Fallout. So this was kind of the thing. I also done some another kind of tried to go very deep into the whole world of the Little Big Adventure, trying to understand how characters were built. So you have the inside of the characters to see how different races kind of looks. I'm not sure if I would still go with this, but this is pretty fun kind of to look at that over the time that I done it, and it looks cool kind of on the pictures. I also done some like the concept arts, some better, some worse, like the as you see the sandal. I tried to do the sandal, tried to do the Twinsen, kind of draw it. I done the 3D model for Zoe, which everybody kind of hate. I still am not fully sure why, but the bold Zoe is pretty terrifying for a lot of people. So I tried to do different one later with the more hairs to kind of give the different vibe to the character. So yeah, I remember still the discussion about it. Yeah, this is kind of the thing. It's like people like it, people dislike it, but this was kind of trying different things and trying to make them work. Some of them are still pretty cool. Like I like the sandal symbol with the arrow around it, kind of it. Yeah, this is the eyes. I tried to be close to the original Little Big Adventure. This is the kind of the thing. The closer the original Little Big Adventure, very hard transferring to the newer graphics. So with the more cartoonish graphics, how the new remake is made, it's is make it a lot easier to kind of transfer the characters. With the more realistic style, it's becoming a problem. It's very hard to kind of find this balance between the original, looking like the original characters, and looking them good, make them look good. So yeah. Then I kind of started working, of course, on the game. I have the whole ecosystem, meaning the editor, there is whole tooling around it, and it works. So yeah, this is kind of the old look on the editor and the first attempt of doing the animations. This is a little bit more developed Citadel Island. As you can see, there were graphics, there were grass, there was terrain system, water, and slowly it started coming together. I done the shadows. This was fun time, and it was also running on the Linux, which I kind of don't have running right now. So in some ways I was ahead of the time. I was trying also doing different tests. So you can see animation test, which I tried to add so the characters could run, can move, and everything. This is like inside the Citadel, the view from the side where I was placing the waypoints for the character, for the nurse to move around, to kind of follow. There is another test level where I try to do the test elevators, tries interaction, buttons, and a few other stuff. This was kind of my test level, which it's not existing anymore, but I done it, I use it, and kind of it's nice to see that stuff like that were done. And finally, this is like the, once again, whole Citadel, but this time, comparing to the previous one, there is nice lighting and improved elements, like there is missing heating pipes, and there is ground outside to kind of make it look, to not see what is below on the lower level. And yeah, and one more view with all the lights and everything. As you can see, still no missing elements, like the machines in the background here next to the prison. And well, everything kind of slowly coming together. As you see the tooling developing, I could do done a lot kind of at that point, but it's still top down, still very close to the original game. And finally, we have whole exterior, a little bit bigger view of it, where you can see that the localization is almost the same as the original. There is small changes. I added the stairs in the background, that extra house there, but generally it's pretty close to the original. And then in 2016, a lot changed. I decided that kind of it's nice, but I want to do more. And part of it is the discussion with one of my friends who done these two characters, the concept art for them, which they kind of looks cool. And he's the professional artist, and it just kind of inspired me to kind of try to push it a little bit more. And around that time, I met Alexandro Machado, we joined the forces for a moment where he started drawing concept of the new look for the Little Big Adventure. And yeah, he drew the soldier, the two version of it, the more kind of bulky one. He drew the spies because he wanted to include them. And some of the elements that we discussed then are still present in the game. I still would want to have this feel of the invigilation, so have the cameras, have the spies, which kind of would add the feeling of the oppression. Around that time, I also started to redesigning the location to add a little bit more. So here you can, for example, see pharmacy and prototype of the two levels of it. So I wanted to 2 floors, so there would be more to the more of the kind of that you entering the buildings and you feeling that somebody living there. Something that we discussed yesterday with Freeman, kind of that it would be nice to be able to explore the buildings and explore more of them than just the game. And this is kind of what I plan to do and still planning. So this is I redesigned the island to be more vertical. I kind of stopped, I didn't like the fact that after the change, the game's still feeling like the 2D game, because this is what in reality is the original game. There is not a lot of the verticality there, which is pretty cool, and I wanted to add it. The location that you see changed a little bit comparing to this one, but the idea is still there, especially in the city center and the new look of the citadel. Right now the island is even bigger than what you can see right now. In the background you can see the different rooms. You can see that the cave under the Twinsend house is there, and so it started moving. And because I didn't thought about it as just the tributes or the first island, I thought about it like the whole tribute of the whole game. So I started also designing other islands, and the island that I prototyped, kind of made the concept of it, was the principal island. And this is kind of the rough look of the principal island. As you can see, there is the big hill with the on the left you can see the water, the sewers, the water kind of source, which you can access through the long road going next to the sea. It would be pretty cinematic. I thought about adding new big city. It will be completely different than original LBA, because I don't really like the principal layout of the original game. I think that we could do more in current times. There would be the new astronomer house, which would be in the middle, the big dome. I will show the concept art for that one. There will be completely new base for the Fun Frog, and everything is kind of big. I can describe it this way. And to show how much bigger, this is comparison between the Citadel Island and the principal island that I planned. So the principal island would be 4-5 times bigger. There would be a lot more to do. I planned to fill it up with the content. There will be a lot of forest, of course, but there will be interesting stuff in the forest which should make it interesting, kind of. And you could go everywhere you want. I wouldn't block you from going there. You could go with the car. So if you go into the water plant, you could go there with the car, or you could just walk there. Of course, it would take you a lot longer, and probably would make it a little bit more dangerous, but you know, this was the whole idea. And I had, of course, a lot of buildings and everything prototyped. And at the same time, when Alexandra was redesigning the characters, I was doing the locations and start to experimenting with it. As you can see, this is kind of the new bar. So this is kind of the first look. There was the new this is the new pharmacy, which I place in the level just as the test to kind of see how it would behave. As you can see, I was building the terrain system, which upgraded a lot and still will be upgraded for the final thing. There was also characters which I tried to model based on his sketches, and of course built the island in a way that kind of felt vertical. And this is kind of some screenshot work on the water or everything. Yeah, new Twinsend, yeah. Over the time, I also done some stuff for the bar. As you see, I still use at that point the old animated old character. The bar developed. It was kind of the idea to kind of develop it further, to make it different than the one in the game, and have still the same vibe, but make it feel just kind of more realistic. And this is kind of achieved with the current version. They were also testing with the hexagon rocks around the city, which didn't survive the trial of time. And as you see, kind of the whole thing slowly developed. I tried to make the balcony in the bar, which I, in the end, dropped. So it's kind of, it was a lot of exploration that led to something. I was also testing with the graphics rendering, so I was trying to make the renderer nicer and also work on the Linux. So this is the progress, just kind of. And as you can see, there are two different logos of the also engine because it changed, and this is the second logo that I have. And when we're talking about that one, we cannot stop because at some point I released something called the tech demo for the Little Big Adventure. It's still, you can still find it inside the I think it's the ModDB or the GameDB, and it's there, kind of. It's still downloadable. You can play it and see how it works. It's still top down. The idea was to capture all the coins that are around the level. Yeah, and it worked. It was released. So what I done polish the grass, which looks really nice. There were flowers, the movement. I tried climbing the ladders. There were elevator. As you can see, there is a lot happening here, and there is some debug stuff that I was trying and experimenting with the gameplay. This was also a good time. I thought that at this point it will just go smoothly. This was the idea. But well, the reality proved to be a little bit different. I even worked on the second demo. So the second demo was a lot more complex, as you can see, a lot bigger, more to do. There were physics elements. There were the new terrain system improved. There was a lot happening. And there were conversation, there were quests, everything kind of come together, except one part that's while standing on one of the high points there, I kind of started figuring out that it's feel that we need a little bit more. And if some of you thinking why there is Uncharted in this, because around that time I was playing Uncharted 1 and 2 and 3, of course. And where it led to? It led to the realization that I don't think that the Little Big Adventure deserved the original kind of the look that was then. It's kind of, I wanted it to be more. I wanted to be like the real tribute to the original game. So what happened? I decided to crafting the new universe and push it even further, push it the verticality, push everything what I can even further, just go with the full-blown reimagination of the whole game. And one of these things was reimagination of the characters. So this would be the sandal that I planned to do in the game. It's it's not it's humanoid, but it's not human. It's like I trying to add the elements that we know, like the four-leaf clover inside it, that kind of as the sword, like that. It's hard. I wanted to do it like the Medusa looks, but also the hands looks like there is something that is similar to the hands, but it's not hands, to make kind of this illusion. It's kind of pretty nice concept, and I still like it a lot after the years. I done also a lot more on the characters. I reimagine every characters that you kind of see. I tried to do the Groboclone, that it looks differently. I want to do the rubber bunnies to have a little bit more kind of differentiate between them, that they look differently. There is the new professor, which I wanted to be different from the nurse, which I wanted to do this funny way. So it's comical, but at the same time it's more realistic kind of. So I think that there is a lot kind of to add there and to make. Even the soldiers, I want to give them this mask which stripping their personality from that every of them when they join kind of Fanfare Force, all of them losing their identity and they start to behaving like the clones, even if they are not. So yeah. I also started to crafting the environment. As you can see, the Citadel Island, the new look of it. I thought about the blip kind of as the way why Zoe kind of leaving the island, and there was never the second boat. So the thing would be that after the Zoe is kidnapped, the blimp disappearing from the building, and this is the way how she kind of is moved out of the island. There was observatory from the principal island, where as you can see it would be looking completely different than in the original game. I wanted to make it feel like it would be a real observatory, and people there would be the guards blocking it, so you couldn't access it in an easy way. There is also another concept from the principal island where I wanted to make the buildings a lot more vertical, add them different aspects to it, that you could travel from the balcony, enter them, go to different building, so people in this world would not only move on the streets, but also try to move around the city in different ways. And this would also have a possibility for Twinsen to move there and give different ways of traveling. I also redesigned the Citadel Hill, where I tried to make it feel nicer with the fences and everything. Big part of it is still in the game. I left them, some of the elements are taken from the real things, like the water tank next to the Citadel, just to give more realism to it, that it feels that somebody is living there and somebody is doing it makes sense. I also moved the dams from the close to the Citadel, because I don't think anybody would want to do that, but move it outside of the Citadel, that there is the dumpster behind it, that you don't really kind of entering it. And it's interesting concept. I changed later the small dump of the trashes next to the Citadel to the gates, so you would enter the track inside the Citadel, not outside of it, and the Citadel would become a lot bigger. And there is of course reimagination of the Twinsen house, which I'm still using till this day. It's kind of, I wanted to give different vibes to everything, that the Twinsen house is different, and that's why I built it that way. And finally, some concept arts of the beach next to the Twinsen house. So I wanted to make it a little bit harder to access the cave under the house. And finally, I done also some concept arts for the locations inside. So this would be the reimagination of the corridor. On the top left would be the corridor leading from the prison to the open space. On the right side, there would be additional area where would be the invigilation of prisoners happening. Very similar things you can find also in the official remake. Under the stairs, they built something like that. I want it to be the whole room. Here on the lower right side, you can see the prison. I wanted to add this kind of 80s elements of the electricity, old machines, old computers, this kind of, all of this stuff. I drew all of this concept except the one with Alexandra is made by me. So the graphics, the concept art is done by me. And finally on the left you have the area where you can pick up the clothes. And because I didn't like that the clothes were hanging there, I added extra place, which was the shower room. So there are shower rooms and changing rooms for the nurses. So thanks to that, you can enter there and just steal the clothes from there. And there are small things here, like you see the elements that would be inside the room. So this is like the concept art. Some of the pictures with the family, some personal stuff that is kind of give the impression that the professors and the nurses are living there. They are kind of their headquarters. And now we'll move to the final kind of part of it. So this is the present times. And as you can see, this is the screenshot from the game, but it's the current game. And you can see that not everything is kind of finished. There are the rocks which are having this checkboard pattern. And this is everything what missing the material. Because generally, at some point of the production, I lost part of the data, especially the materials, which is problematic, but also is not really important right now because I'm trying to build the tech, and recovering it just it can be time consuming, and there is possibility that I will break something in the future. And this happened a few times that I done correction there where potentially I could lose it. So in 2020 till today, something changed also, because till now I was always thinking about it as the top-down game. But around the 2000, I decided that I want to show the vistas. I love that people can see the city, can see these far-away places on the island, and it's adding so much depth to the game. But it's also adding so much overhead for me that it could be my best idea, but at the same time it can be my worst idea. But if you look on the views like that, just kind of, I believe that it is worth it. It's like, this is the screenshot from the version when the material were still okay. And I start to transition some of the rocks from this greenish one to the brown one. So start improving graphics. So you can see in future, imagine here the clouds, the birds, all of the stuff that the official remake kind of have. So to add the more realistic look to it. There will be the fishes swimming in the water. So I think it will be really cool if there will be the smoke from the houses, you know, these small details which make pictures like that believable. And this is the more improved version. As you can see, it's already containing all of the brown rocks. And this is more or less layout of the game right now. It didn't changes for years already. You can see there are some artifacts with the houses on the left, but all of that will be corrected. So there is new elements like the shipwreck on one of the beaches. There is the cemetery. I changed the way how the city center look completely. I make the sewers differently. The Twinsen house looks more or less how I done it in the concept. There is a lot more happening, and there is a lot more houses. I wanted all the houses to be that you can visit them and see what is inside. And some of them were even relatively good kind of design. It's like, this is the new pharmacy, where behind the door there is the second part of the pharmacy. This is the living part of it, where the pharmacist just living. There is his kitchen, there is the living room, there is his study room, everything kind of there, and you can explore it, which adding this kind of feel that this place is really kind of living. This is the real thing. I also redesigned the Twinsen house, which changing over the time, and this is the final version. I think I don't want to change it a lot. I want to just make it more kind of feel that Twinsen is living there. Also, this location allowed me to kind of think about it, who Twinsen really is, what he doing for a work, because we never hear what Twinsen occupation is. We just know he had ancestors who are pirates, who own the magic ball and everything. But I wanted to add a little bit more feel to it, and I wanted to turn the Zoe into the mechanic, and Twinsen to be more kind of into the books historian kind of something like that. And another thing that this level kind of gave me is this I don't know if you can see it in the right corner. There is like the radio with the crystals on top of it. This is a relatively important part because the idea to add the crystals for as the power source for this one device shaped the development of the story that I wanted to kind of add to the original. And I also started to working on the new model, which is still not implemented into the game. So as you can see on the left is the current model that I'm using, and on the right there is the new model, which is a lot more, it's changed also over the time. This is the older version, which looked a little bit like the monkey, but I still will be refining it and trying to make it nicer. But the big change there is that the characters have the face mimic, and the eyes and everything is built in the way that we should be able to add the mimic and movement of the whole face. I also started to designing, you can see here a little bit different version of this model already, but I also started working on the other races. So you can see the spheres, you can see the rabbit bunnies. I changed it a little bit nose to add it a little bit more like the cartoonish look, and you can see the skeleton that I will be using around the game. I also built a lot of content that I never really used so far. I tried to do the modular parts. I maybe will use them somewhere in some temples, but I tried to do it just kind of as the experiment and make it work. And the results are pretty nice, even if this is just all of this that you can see here is built from all the elements that you see before. So you can see it looks relatively nice, and you can achieve some things which in the temples it may be interesting to kind of explore, once again reusing these parts. This is another kind of view of the characters that I'm changing, and you can see here is more refined version of it, and this is a lot more closer than it is right now. And to say the truth, I want to use it, I want to kind of implement it, but there is still waiting in front of me to refine the animation system to better handle the stuff and give me bigger control over it. And finally, we're moving to the future. So as you can see here, this is one of the screenshots from the locations that it's coming. So no, not this one, this one. So on this one, we will change a little bit. I will switch to the real-time stuff. So the first thing that I will show, I will probably start with the game itself, because it will be interesting probably for you to show what is coming. So comparing to the original game, what I wanted to introduce is the new level, which allowing you, maybe I will disable that just to kind of, because the flickering is a lot, we'll just enable full screen and we can start. Yeah, here it is. Okay, here we are. I don't know why it's not full screen. I will just correct it. Give me a second, I will just do some correction. Oh, I know why. It's because the game changing the full screen. Let's change the configuration a little bit. Let's do this, let's do this. do this and do this. Small changes, but this is the source code of the remake. Okay, so this is the current state of the game. Sadly, I cannot leave the first level because it's breaking. So what's happening here is that before the original game happening, I wanted to introduce the new level, the test level, like kind of not the test, but the level where players can explore the game and kind of understand, and like the tutorial. But I never knew how to do it. So I decided to introduce the dream sequence. So the sequence that you know from the movie where the twins are sitting on the snowy mountain and looking at the end of the world, I wanted people to explore it, not only go with it. So what happened there is like, I had multiple versions of it. I will show it in the editor. But this is the most recent version that I don't think any one of you kind of seen. So the idea is that the twins are waking up in the dream and start to exploring the dream area. And the dream area is the area which introducing the different races, for example. You can see here the different characters. You can see that there is a lot more content outside, but it's not accessible right now. So this is kind of the area. This is like the place where twins, the people following the Sandal fate would be and would explore kind of the fate into it. There is the miniature of the solar system inside the twin sun. Yeah, and what's happening here is there is the places where people can sit around, and there will be a teacher standing there and explaining about it and explain about the magic and everything. And behind it you have the different kind of the teachers, or the creator of the Sandal, like the Sandal fate, which of every kind of race. It's still pretty rough, but you can see kind of how it would look, and it's give a lot of kind of this concept. So this is the first location, one of the locations that would explore. But there is a lot more. There is the entrance to the whole school. Let's call it School of the Magic, the Lost School of the Magic. And this is the entrance, which you can see it's already have the stalagmites, so it's passed a lot of time from the last time it was used. I plan to use the skeletons for characters lying around here, so to make it make it feel more reliable. And there will be the story behind it. I don't want to go into the details, but there would be the story. And finally, when you leave it, you exit through the main gate and explore the new location. It will be the entrance to the whole thing. As you can see, it's there. There is like the columns, everything. There will be a lot more content also happening below, but I don't want to go kind of once again into the details, just so you could explore it when I will be done with it. There will be Broken Bridge, which right now is represented by these cat circles, but in the final version there will be fallen elements, which some premise you can find here kind of. But you can understand that there was the column which fall and destroy the bridge. And finally, when you're leaving, you will enter these snowy mountains that you know from the video. There will be the probably dinoflies waiting for you, and when you will approach it, the whole sequence will start. Right now it's crashing sadly because the game is just, it's still work in progress. The recent changes broke a lot of stuff, but this is kind of how it looks. So this is the newest addition to what is already there in the video. For people that want to kind of compare it with the previous version, I also found some of the older versions of the game, which kind of can show up how the game developed and how the things just evolve over the time. This time I will once again. Here we are. Here we are. Return back. So here is the one of the older version to kind of show you how the level evolved. So originally I wanted this to be just the turtle. As you see, there is no twins and characters because I was working with the new characters. So in close future, not so much. There is so much work to do. So as you can see, the character is standing up and he's waking up in this dark room, which leading you through this highlight to the elevator, which teach you how to kind of use the button. Once again, there is, as you see, it's fully top down. There is there is dissolving of the wall, so you can see where you're going. There is the premise of the whole room, which later I will show you the other evolution of it, with a lot of, and you have this here, the races, which you can read about the different races. There is the opening, there is the jump, 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 and we entering to this outside, which leaving here to the exterior, where would be once again the same sequence. The ID was there. What we have here, we have also the old old Twins and House. As you can see, it's a lot different comparing to the new version. But idea is there, kind of the first execution is there. And finally, here you can see that this is the exterior of the island. Things are broken, sometimes flickering, but you cannot look around really. It's kind of, just top-down view, which allowing you to explore the things. Right now the citadel looks very similar, but it's more approached by the first-person view. So for example, let's try the bar, which is pretty empty. There's nothing there. And I cannot even leave it. Oh. So. Well, I think that over the time it make the problems, like here you can see. Because I need to assign the correct material and the visibility and everything, and it makes some problems kind of with the game. And I think that the next iteration added a lot more kind of feel to it. But yeah, this is an example of the problems for it. This is, if you configure it wrong, this is kind of what's happening. But there is another version, which is more modern kind of, and it's full screen even. Yes, there will be some more, yes, some errors, but it's just one from what I tested. And as you see, this is kind of more modern approach to it. Once again, it's the same concept. A lot of the things which didn't make full sense for me, kind of that you're waking up in this room, you're going through the empty halls, you're going through to the elevator, which leading nowhere, kind of. Some problems with the camera, and here you have the later iteration of the second iteration of the location. And once again, you have some different things. You can interact with the doors, you can interact with the things. Let's pick up the item. There is also the sequence which I kind of want to change. So I think I will drop the wake up of the twin sun inside the bed, which will happen right now, because I think that this is kind of it's not fully kind of up to date with the current things. It just I want to play it differently, a little bit nicer kind of, but yeah. So there is the wake up, testing of the conversation, the new system, Zoe living, and we are in the new house of the twin sun. What is important, it's still not looking bad, it's kind of, you know what it should be. There is also the basement, which is a lot different than the one in the original game, but I just found it more kind of correct for what it is there. And finally there is the exterior, which from what I remember is working, so you can see it's right away different kind of vibe when you can see the long distance and everything. This is the things which I kind of love it, that by doing the third person, everything kind of getting the new look to it. It's allowing me to do more like the stuff, for example, point out where to go and just show the new aspect of the game. And it's feel just for me a lot modern and a lot more kind of, you know, the graphics is still work in progress, so they will be evolving more. I need to I want to rewrite the terrain system to make it a little bit nicer, because as you can see, for example, the grass don't have the right light and things like that. So there will be a lot more happening, and it will be looking a lot better in the future. It's just that right now I'm not focusing on the graphic, I'm focusing more on the technology. I want to start recovering the game and just pushing it further, and the gameplay just move forward. But yeah, and also the performance here, as you can see, it's sometimes just hanging a little bit, and I think that this is partially because I don't have the greatest PC right now, and also partially because it's just there is some ways to optimize it a lot better. But you can see this is the kind of the view that sold me on the idea of let's do the third person and just allow people to look wherever they are. But the problem with that is that there is a lot more to do there, and you know, things like you can right now by looking through the whole island, you need to render everything there, which bringing a lot of the problems of the performance and rendering. I needed to rewrite a lot of things to kind of support it, but it's happening. And here we have, for example, of the new bar of the LBA tribute. You can see there will be bottles, there will be everything. Here is the city place. There will be the scene where singing could happen, the top floor, and a lot of pictures which I plan to do, like different pictures from the original game and some concept art. And of course you can go to the basement, but the basement is not publicly available, as you need to go behind the bar, and there is nothing there right now. So yeah, just to compare this kind of to the as you can see, not everything working. I want in the future to be able to have the smooth transition without these loading times. As you can see, it's the performance dying slightly. But let's go to the pharmacy. I will show pharmacy. Let's show a little bit more kind of what is going there. And this is like the pharmacy that I showed the picture before. It's just that is in the game, fully functional. And you could enter the room next to it, which is right now very rough. Just placeholder, some mistakes there. And you can go upstairs and check every room. or go here and not do anything. But yeah, this is more or less kind of where we are with this. But before we go further, I need to start the editor. And this is the thing that kind of taking a lot of time right now, is writing the tools to make the game. Because everything running on the custom technology. This is not the Unreal, this is not Unity. This is everything written in this White Rabbit engine that I kind of develop and still developing. And the thing about it is there is a lot of the technical things, and writing the game is one big chunk of the work to do, but writing the tooling and the technology for it is relatively kind of complex. Yeah, I think that they will be even nicer when it starts feeling. Right now it's very kind of generic look, so I'm only focusing on the basics of the look. I'm not focusing so much on the details. So this is, for example, the area that we visited, the entrance to the cave and everything. And here is the previous cave that I done. So you can recognize this room. And what happened, I didn't like how useless this kind of part is. It's not telling any story. And because it's not telling any story, I didn't feel like it's the right thing. So I started to experiment with this idea of the tower, destroyed tower that have the living quarters in it. And I'm still thinking about including the living quarters inside the new look that you can see here. But this is kind of something that I want to kind of still explore. And just to show you kind of how bigger it is, this is the old one. And this is the new one. So there is a lot of the content to be done there. So let's load now this. Let's download this one. And let's start with the Twins and House and current look of it. Because this is the kind of the thing that drive a lot of the changes. I done in the recent years a lot of the work on the rendering and everything. And you know, it's a lot of the technology changes have taken a lot of time, and there is not a lot of the effect. But at the same time, it's giving me possibility to explore these characters, the stories, the everything. So here, for example, you have the Twins and House with the current rendering. Let's go into fight something. So this is how the rendering of the Twins and House look right now. As you can see, it's a little bit more populated. It's still not feeling like the place where somebody lived, but I will slowly add the details that will make it happen. You see things like the umbrellas next to the doors, shelves, everything. And I want it to be present across the whole kind of level. That in the bathroom there will be mirrors, there will be toothbrush, just kind of the things that make it believable that this is the place. I also updated the Twins and bedroom to make it more kind of nicer. I think this one will go further, but yeah, we have 2 more minutes. So yeah, this is kind of more or less. And as you see, I'm using the tool, and this tool is where I'm creating the whole game. I have here a lot more than just these visual parts. I have here the logic. I have here the animations. I'm trying to build the tools that allow me not only to build the tribute, but build more with it. Maybe even my own game in the future. But it just takes time. You know, last 2 weeks I spent fixing something that for the normal person is not very visible, the result, but for me it's giving me the feedback about the errors that I'm making in the code. So rendering. I'm also implementing right now the external libraries. I'm focusing on the fast prototyping. So I want to build the system where I can drag the stuff from the internet and be allowed to fastly prototype, do something with it. I want to be save this way the time, even for prototyping the Little Big Adventure, that I can take the animation that are ready and include them into the game for some less important characters and make it just feel right. But to do all of that and kind of make the workflows and make things happen, it just takes a lot of time. Okay, with this one, I think we are right now it's loading the island. So as you can see, there is even streaming system that while the level loading everything. And this is the Citadel Island in the current shape. It's not terrible, but there are a lot of things that kind of still not working. But it's more or less kind of what you see on the pictures. And I wanted to make it nicer over the time to make it just feel how it should feel. But even with all these imperfection and everything, I just like the feel of the location, kind of how everything coming together, even without the nicest model right now. And on this I will end. Any question before Frick tell me who to write? Yep. Per month, it's depending how much time I have. I have the family, I have the full-time job, so sometimes there is like 5 hours, sometimes there is 40 hours, and sometimes there is more. Generally, the last chance that I done, I would say like at least 4 hours a day, just to kind of do things. So you have like 20 and plus weekends, so a lot. And you know, this is only including right now the coding. And there is the coding, there is the animation, there is graphics. Some of the levels, the prototypes that you could see, the entrance and everything had 2 iterations. So making the entrance itself, I would say, is around 20-30 hours just to have the idea, the look that I wanted there. So this kind of look of the temple inside the cave that you enter. Yeah, so this is kind of the thing. And as I mentioned, I think that I know that you're complaining that it's taking a lot, but the thing that is important about this change is like over the time I think I understand more what I want and what I want to do with it. It's like the evolution process. It's like I'm not going with the first idea that I'm coming, but even the dream sequence. I have the idea about the dream, so the dream sequence will tell the story itself. And this will expand on the whole world, which kind of make think. Where do you follow the progress? I'm right now on Twitter, where I'm not streaming very often these days. There is the YouTube, where I'm also not publishing a lot of the videos because a lot of the work that I do is the technical. There is coffeemonsters.com, which is the redirecting you to the blog post. I'm also have my Discord channel, and I'm available on the Discord, both of the LBA Discords. And I'm of course on the X with the Coffee Monsters, and I'm on the Magic Ball forum also. Yeah. So there is a lot of the places. I try to post the stuff. I'm a little bit less active recently. The part of it is because I'm doing some relatively big changes in the technology, just to kind of make my life easier by spending time. So I'm saving time by spending time. But this is kind of how it is, and it's. I think that over right now I'm almost past this one, which will allow me to work more on the gameplay. And when I will start working on the gameplay, I will have more stuff to show, like the visually. Because right now I'm doing, for people that know the topic, really cool things. For people that don't care about the game, nothing changing. It's even worse in some ways because the builds are unstable, as you can see, because I'm in the middle of the big change. But I needed to do it. It's something that just kind of over the time will benefit me. But right now it's just like the change of the third person view. It's like it's maybe my best idea or my worst idea, depending when you ask me about it. Okay, Freak, who is next in this, or should I continue because I'm not sure? Empass. Epmas. Are you ready for the raid? EP manager. Thank you. It's like as I was saying, it's like just yesterday I managed. Sorry, 2 days ago I managed to fix it. Yesterday I managed to break the build, and yesterday around 10 p.m. I managed to fix it again. So I have something. So yeah. Okay, if I could remember the exclamation rate. Right, this is the right command line or not? Freak. Oh, thank you. Okay, thank you all for coming, and yeah, have a great rest of the streams. One.